Hey there! The gentleman who sent me this very nice Mont Blanc Solitaire now sent me a couple of other pens. One of them came in this nice little box. Looks pretty plain until you get it out. Sheaffer. Nice reflective box, looks futuristic. And that's not so weird because in there is a pretty futuristic pen. This is the Sheaffer Intrigue. I think it's no longer made, so if you want one, you have to go scouting on eBay or whatever. Very nice pen. First of all, thanks a lot for sending this to me. I love it. I think it's very, very cool. For now, I'm going to cover the parts of the pen, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. So, this pen is unique because of the filling system. It can be used as a piston-filled pen, but it actually has a converter. Kind of nice. I'll show you that in a second, but first, let's have a look at the parts. So on top of the cap, there's nothing, just this little end cap. Then you have the clip, obviously with the Sheaffer white dot on it. That clip is definitely usable, has a nice shape, as you can see, so it's definitely flexy enough. You can really hook that in your shirt. See, no problem. I like that shape a lot. You don't get snagged. One thing that's very, very cool is this diagonal slit between the cap and the barrel. You see, you got that nice thing going on there. Then you have the barrel, which just looks futuristic. Look at that. You got those nice little dots, and then you have this thing here. Pretty cool. It says Sheaffer on one side on the barrel. On the other side it says USA. I think it looks pretty cool. Now something else that's very, very cool is the nib. It's one of those nice inlaid Sheaffer nibs. This seems to be a fine. It's 14 karat gold, and it's very interesting to use. A bit of line variation, etc. It says 14K 585 Sheaffer, and that's it. Inlaid. What you also see there is a rubber ring. Or rubber, could just be plastic actually. That is there to just keep the cap in place. Okay, and again you see that nice little line there. You see that line running, wait a minute, running parallel. How do I run this parallel? Oh god, the camera is mirrored. Oh, not that way, not that way, this way. Ah, there we go. You see that runs parallel, kind of nice because it reflects this shape, that going parallel, etc. So I really like that. A lot of thought seems to have gone into the design of this pen. Now, what was that about that filling system being weird? Well, you got this end cap here. You unscrew this turning knob, and then you pull out this sort of drawer. And in that drawer is a Sheaffer converter. And then what you do is you put that back in, and then you have a little knob there which you pull out, and then you screw it one way or the other way to expel air, draw in ink, and when you're done you push it back in. I'm not going to actually turn it because there's already ink in there. I don't want to spill it all over my keyboard, if you don't mind. But that's how this works. Is it useful? Not really. Could you have made a piston filler? Sounds a lot simpler than building in a converter, but hey, I think it's kind of cool. I've never seen a system like this, so it's consider it a bit of a novelty thing. The pen, this is all metal, definitely top heavy. Can you post it? Sure you can. It gets even heavier, but then you get the really nice offset of those lines. I really like that. For some reason it really works for me. Then it's very heavy, definitely top heavy, but it'll work. Decent size, works well, pretty cool pen. Okay, so things I like about it, things I don't like about it. I love the overall looks. I love the feel. It's a heavy pen. You really feel like you're holding a pen. It's not ridiculously large. It's not small. Nice, a little bit fat. I like that. Pleasant to grip. I think it's a very, very cool, neat design. Things I don't like about it. The nib, to my liking, could have been a bit wetter. I find it a little bit on the dry side. Could just be my nib. It is a fine, but I may look into opening up these tines a bit, which is going to be difficult with an inlaid nib, but I'm going to try it. Other things I don't like, this ring. For me, this ring on the section gets in the way of writing. So when I write with it for a long time, I tend to hold my pen a little bit high. That means that I really put my middle finger just under that ring. If you hold the pen a little bit lower, then it shouldn't really be an issue. But for me, that's too low. So I tend to notice that ring. So I found a compromise where I hold it just before the ring, and that it seems to be okay. It's definitely top heavy when you post it, so that's something you have to bear in mind. Apart from that, I think it's cool. That filling system, yeah, it's gimmicky. I mean, you've got, it's something like from the Fifth Element or something. You pull it out, you put a converter in, you put it back in, you screw it back in place. It's a little elaborate. I would say either make a piston filler or cartridge converter filled pen and not both, but whatever. It seems to work. And it's cool. It has a cool factor. I think it's a pretty nice pen. I think that's more than enough talk. I thank the kind viewer who sent this to me. It's a very awesome pen. I think you need to see it in action. But right before we do that, we're just going to take some measurements. I have 133 millimeters capped, uncapped. I have 124. Section diameter at the narrowest point. That's not really something, I mean, I want to have a way you can still hold it. That would be very much near the highest end of the section. It's already 9 millimeters, and at the bottom it's almost 12 millimeters. So it's definitely a fat section, fat pen. Finally, weight. It turns in about 40 grams. That's really on the heavy side for a fountain pen. So that's it. I'm going to show you how it writes. I hope this was useful. Again, thanks for sending me this. I love it. And I'll see you later. Bye bye. Okay, writing with the Sheaffer Intrigue. I was trying to put down the cap, but of course you can't because it's cut at a slanted angle. That was pretty stupid. Alright, what do we got then? We got here Sheaffer Intrigue. And the one thing you may notice is that the pen is fairly dry. You see there's a skip there, there's a skip here. The nib seems to be a fine, and the ink is Conway Stewart. Sorry, I can't spell. Edgecombe. I thought it was this. Which is a very nice ink that I've used with a lot of joy. Now, what you see is that with a bit of pressure, the nib gets a lot wetter. So I wonder whether this is just a matter of the pen having some startup issues, because now I'm not pressing down hard. Seems to give a good ink flow. Okay, let's consider that to be a little bit of startup. It's a heavy pen, a lot of metal, and you really feel that as you write. A bit of fast writing. Pretty well. You see some skips and there's fast writing, but I think for normal writing it really should be okay. For me personally, the nib could be a little bit wetter. That might give some more lubrication and a little bit of a smoother writing experience, but it's definitely not bad. So that's interesting. What about line variation? Well, let's look at wetness. This is no pressure at all. You can probably hear it. You see it's just pretty dry. Ink immediately dries. Very fine line. Line variation is a 14 karat gold nib. You can definitely squeeze out some line variation. So that's cool. A little bit of reverse writing. This is extremely scratchy. I would not recommend this. It's really unpleasant. And of course maybe it has something to do with the nib being inlaid or something, I don't know. But there seems to be very little tipping on the top end of the nib there. So overall, a nice writing experience. It's definitely smooth. You feel some feedback on these upstrokes, but on the downstrokes it's a very, very smooth writer. Nice bit of line variation. I think it's a very fascinating pen, one that I will use with a lot of joy. So, my dear viewer who sent me this, thanks a lot. I love it, and I'm really going to have fun with this pen. So, thank you. I hope this was useful, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.